Hi, my name is Giselle Thompson. Thank you so much for coming to the Live the Life You Want speaker series. Here you'll learn more practical ideas and strategies on how to overcome adversity, be happy, and live the life of your dreams. And the reason I wanted to do the speaker series is myself, I was in a bit of a dark place, and I really benefited from other people sharing ideas and strategies on how to pull out of that dark place. And also in that evolution to decide how I could do things differently in order to be more financially independent over the long term. And this is why I'm really excited to have Gaelle Lecourt here today with us. She has, so welcome, Gaelle.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Wonderful. And she mentors women who are unfulfilled in their career to create their thriving online coaching business so they can have a financial and personal freedom to do what they love while traveling anywhere in the world. And this is what you do, right, Gaelle?
Yeah, exactly. I share my life between Mexico, the US, and France every year, all year round. Yeah.
That's exciting. And I have here in my notes that you reached 5,000 and 10,000 months and hosted a VIP deep care retreat and coaching intensive in Mexico in your first year of business.
Correct, yes.
It moved very quickly for you once you had, set your stake down that you were going to do this, I guess.
Yeah, it was there was a big shift at the beginning. Of course, I didn't hear anything for like 6 months, but as soon as I found my voice and really find myself to be, what are the marketing strategies that are authentic to me, when I really put myself into my business and my uniqueness, that's when it started. Yeah.
And you're going to talk about that.
Yes, totally.
Awesome. And so there are a couple of reasons why I wanted to work with Gaelle. First of all, she was recommended by a colleague, Brigitte Pestalozzi, who's also been interviewed in this series. Mm-hmm. And she spoke so very highly of Gaelle and thought she would be a great fit. So thank you, Brigitte. And when I went on her website, the first few words just caught my heart. Hello, free spirit. Okay. If you want to break free from the mold, that's me. To live your dream lifestyle now instead of when you'll retire. We are on the same page, lady. Okay, that's me. So you want to create, so your website continued, you want to create a business that's the sum of your passions that allows you to travel and turn your bucket list into your reality today. Like you had me at those 2 sentences. That's it. I'm in.
Yes.
And I also, what I liked about how I saw your expertise enhancing this speaker series is the now what question. As I was just mentioning to you a little bit earlier, we focused a lot on practical ideas and strategies for people who are, kind of stuck, or maybe a lot stuck like I was, and you can't even dream that it's even maybe possible to be living a different way. And so we've had a lot of amazing experts who've talked about what to do to break free. And we've talked about people, we've heard from experts speaking about living your dreams and journaling through and getting to your dreams. Mm-hmm. And what I love about what you're bringing to the equation is, okay, so you've signed into your dream, you're ready to go. Mm-hmm. Now what? So thank you so much for coming to share that with us today.
You're very welcome.
So let's get started. Focus of the interview, as we mentioned, is to create a business to support a lifestyle that is location independent. Mm-hmm. Because that is your specialty.
Yeah.
You don't have, the listeners, you don't have to be doing this if that's not what you want. But for those of you who want to have a lifestyle that's location independent, where you can work from your smartphone and laptop and move around the world or around your country or whatever it is that works for you, this is what Gaelle helps people do. So how do you even begin to figure out how to make a living doing the things that you love?
Well, I would like to take a step back here, because I think what's super important is for me, especially in my story, was figuring out what I wanted to do in my life. And like you said, it's really, really important, that phase of shaping what you want to do, because then, when you're down that path, you better make sure that the lifestyle and the purpose are all aligned. What you love to do is exactly all the sum of your passions. So like you said, I didn't want to wait retirement to have the life that I wanted. Actually, the story is that in July 2013, I was going for a trip in Asia. I was still in my corporate job at that time. And I realized, that I was in Bangkok, in one of the biggest temples of the city. And I realized, my grandmother had actually walked those exact steps before me. And so that's really like the fuel for me, that moment when I realized, like, wow, I've been climbing, temple in Asia, like, thank God I'm healthy and I can do it and I can actually enjoy, because I wouldn't realize, I was like, my grandmother was retired at that time when she was traveling, and I really wanted to take advantage of my health right now to be able to, do those crazy trips I do without feeling like, it's too hot or it's too hard, like staying in shape to be able to do it. And also being able, I had two nieces who are born in France as well, that I really want to visit more often than like a weekend per year. So those are like my big why, and those are the things that people need to be clear on, because those are the fuel that's going to burn inside of you and keep you going. Like, the life of a journey of entrepreneurship is not necessarily, the easiest, but it's definitely super enjoyable. And when you have your why, when you know your passion, it's really what's going to make you move forward and have faith. So, I just wanted to say that, because I'm sure, some of your past speakers have talked about it, but the figuring out how to make a living doing what you love really implies that you spend the time figuring out what you love. And that may look like frustration, like for me, it was like a lot of Post-it notes, like, the giant Post-it notes you get in corporate, like it was all plastered on the white wall of my second bedroom / office in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I went, to write a list of like what I love to do, what do I not want to have in my life anymore as well. And it really came down to like, okay, if I had a blank page in front of me, how would I want to redesign my life? And, that in itself is a step that takes a lot of mindset shift. Because I had 10 years of successful corporate job to move to just drop, and it was not easy. My parents were government workers; they always had the stability of a job. So for me to be like, like 10 years of success in corporate, I'll just drop that and restart. It was a huge mindset shift that I had to work on. And then the second shift I had is basically, and some of your listeners may feel relieved by that. So basically, when I decided to quit my job, of course, at the beginning, I wanted to find the plan B right away, and I wanted to know what I would do and start. And then in 2014, I realized that the person I was in 2014 could not figure out what this new person who would be born 9 months later would do, And I was like, this is not for me to solve, because Gaelle, going through quitting her job and so selling everything and moving to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, is going to be a completely different woman after she has done that. So I'm like, I'll just leave to that future me the task of finding what she wants to do. Because, on the Post-it note, so it's a bit like unconventional, and I definitely recommend, if people know what they want to do first, be my guest, and build your business while you have your corporate job. That's the safest way to do. But then, that implies also that you have a lot of time dedicated to your corporate job. So that was a bit frustrating for me. So what I actually did is like I quit my job, because you have to imagine, like I still have them actually, like the big Post-it note with like, I could be traveling the world for 1 year. I could be a coach. I could have classes online. I could be a travel blogger. Like there was all those yoga teacher, blah, blah, blah. There was so many different avenues to what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to live by the beach in the winter, and if possible, Caribbean. I wanted to spend more time with my nieces, and I wanted to help transform people's life. Those are, the three, but then there's so many ways.
That's right.
And so, yeah, I basically quit my job. I had savings in the bank, and I arrived in Playa del Carmen. I still didn't know what I wanted to do, but I needed time to reflect, because the thing is, like, often, we have social pressure. And so what happened is like, well, in Mexico, when I arrived, I really took off all of those layers of social conditioning, of what I should do, of what is safe to do. And I really looked into what do I really enjoy doing. And so that also makes you, tune yourself much better, like being noticing what lights you up, what drains your energy. And so for that, Playa del Carmen, Mexico was definitely the place to be recentered on that. And I followed the sign. Basically, when I discovered I really wanted to choose becoming a coach, then everything went smoothly. It's funny because I was starting to feel like I was in a mud, and since I took that decision, that decisive point, I got a 1-year training program in coaching and online business. I specialized online because that was the best for my traveling lifestyle. That's the only one that allows me to travel all over. And so then the training brought me, theories, strategies, and I hired my first business coach who helped me, nail down my niche. Like I said, like what was unique about me, and that's how I found my first paying client. And I offered, she booked a VIP retreat in Mexico, like you mentioned. She booked also the 6 months package with me. And suddenly, I made $9,300 with just one client. So I was not believing it at first, that's also, again, some mindset work to do here. You're like, wow, that just happened. And I'm a scientist by background. So I was like, I'm an engineer, a food engineer originally. And I was working in research and corporate for the flavor industry. So I was like, let me have a second data point to make sure this is valid.
You need more evidence.
I know. Brigitte always tells me, like, she loves how I have this scientific mindset and was food metaphor always to explain how to become a coach.
So what was your second data point?
The second data point was basically like, the second I did some... I did a presentation here. I signed up another client that made again like 4,500, and then I made 10,000. So then you relax more into this is my new normal.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like last year it was amazing because last New Year's Eve that first client sent me a message, telling me how much she was grateful of the transformation, and she's now a high performance coach and a change maker. And she was telling me how she was so excited. She had been on to like a road trip to Italy. And, that's how I really resonate with my clients, because we love food. We love traveling, like we keep talking about pastries in France and other items, that are delicious. So that's really what I visualized, living next to the beach and transforming people's life. I mean, seeing my nieces, I see them now, like 1 month, 2 months a year. That's super cool because they're super young, and I really want them to be also seeing, a different way. Like I am the only person who can model to them that a woman can, have a business and have the flexibility, but you don't need to go to your 9 to 5 and to work like a prince do. So visualizing was really, really important, and making transformation in people's life is exactly what's happening. So I'm really happy. So, to be time efficient, because I think it took me a lot of time, but to be time efficient, I would say that people need to, one, figure out what they want. You've got to figure out what you want, because it's like entering your destination in the GPS. Nothing happens unless you type it in. And you don't need to know the how. Like, I didn't know if I would be a travel blogger. I didn't know if I would be a coach, if I would just take a 1-year sabbatical. What I knew is I wanted to live by the Caribbean beach. I wanted to be location independent to see my nieces, and I wanted to transform people's life.
Okay.
That's all. Like, you need to know the bigger picture, basically. Otherwise you get paralyzed by the little details. And then you make a plan to reach it. So second step is making a plan to reach it. And then it's like, don't be afraid. There's going to be some wrong turns. There's going to be some mistakes, but you do your best always. You just implement it. You have to, making a plan. A lot of, I do have a test, that I make my clients do, because sometimes in all that sequence, people are dropping when it's time to implement. So they are really good at visualizing, making a plan, and then procrastination. Nobody's implementing. So the first step is really to implement properly your plan, and really taking action, because it's only when you're moving that you can actually correct your trajectory. So it's the plane that's going, let's say from Paris to New York. There is this big curve over the ocean, but it's always correcting its trajectory depending on where it's at. So it's really about take actions and drop everything from your head into reality, so that you can actually see what's working and what's not, and correct it. And of course, it's also about having faith and trusting yourself, because if you get paralyzed by like what if I fail, what if people don't see me as an expert, all of that is just fears, and they are slowing you down or costing your dream. And fear is just, to me, is just like a smoke screen, basically. It's like you feel like it's a huge jump. It's like the Grand Canyon jump, and you're like, oh no, it was easier. When you do it, it's like, it was just so much easier than what I thought. So having faith is also super, super important. Really cultivating that mindset is definitely the last step that I think people need to have constantly in their life to do their dream. Yeah.
Wow, that is very, very helpful and very clear.
Awesome.
And I'm wondering too if it's kind of answered question 2, which is, what practical ideas and strategies can listeners apply right now to live the life they want?
Yeah, so like I said, being crystal clear on what you desire. So spend the time on that, because you don't want to realize halfway through that your desires have changed. Like I said, focus on the what, not the how. Visualize it. So what I did for that is, you got to think about it every day. It's super easy, but life comes into way, and you drop it. So you've got to visualize it. You've got to breathe it, like live it every day. What I did is, like, I said to many, many people around me that I would quit my job in November or October of 2014. And I kept saying it. So, it's you're building your reality, really. And so if people say, you're crazy, drop them out of your life. You basically don't need them in your life. It's that simple. It's a good sign that you don't need them. And the one that, really support you are the one that you want to keep. And that's also the thing for me. I think the third strategy is to really get to know people who have done it before you. So when I was studying, what could I do if I was traveling the world? A lot of time I didn't really find anybody who was like me, until I found Kim Dinan. She's the blogger behind So Many Places. And she was basically having a corporate job like me. She had also she still has a husband, and she has had this huge corporate job for the city of Portland, Oregon, and she was dropping it. So she was really like me, you know. We both had a 10-year careers to drop and to go travel the world. And so that really got me to, okay, if she can do it, she planned how much savings, etc., then I can do it too. Because I wasn't really resonating, you know, with the backpackers who were staying in hostels and didn't really went after college or something like that. Wasn't resonating with me. So really find somebody who has done it before you, because that's also going to shift your mindset on, okay, this person has done it, then I can do it too.
Right.
And then being decisive. So really taking decisions, you know, like I said, the fear is just a big screen of smoke. Don't let it impress you, and just take the decision, baby steps. And what I really recommend also to all my clients, you know, is once you know what they want to do, invest in training, in mentoring right away. Take the better solution instead of the cheapest. When I started, you know, I was taking the cheapest email management system, or, you know, then it brings you more struggle down the road, because your business cannot grow as you grow. So you really want to invest into mentoring, training, and the right system for you, instead of playing it small. You really have to believe in yourself, you know, that you're going to be successful. And that way, the systems you implement into your business, you're not going to outgrow them. They are going to expand with you. And again, you know, it's one small step at a time. So in your current life, whatever is your reality right now, what can you do to get one step closer to your goal? Okay. So do you need to declutter your home? Do you need to, I was giving yoga classes in my town, because one of the options was, you know, to give yoga classes and be a yoga teacher. It's you know, take that flight to this location you want to go to check things out. And the whole idea when I came to Playa del Carmen in vacation first is I met somebody who was working online, and that kind of made, you know, that planted a seed into my head. So you will meet people, you will see opportunities, but you gotta take those first steps for you to see forward in the plan and see all the opportunities and the doors that are open for you. Yeah.
That's really, really, really exciting. I have a couple more questions for you. Okay, so the next one. Do you feel that there is a link between living your purpose and living your ideal lifestyle? Can the two go together, or must one be chosen over the other? Why or why not, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I think it goes hand in hand to me. For somebody to be fulfilled, you know, if you want to enjoy your lifestyle needs to allow you to be fulfilled in what you do and expressing your purpose. If it's limiting you, you're going to be frustrated. And expressing your purpose, on the other hand, you know, needs to be compatible with the ideal lifestyle you're looking for. So if the job and the work, the purpose you want to express makes you work 200 hours a week and is incompatible with you traveling, you're just going to resent one or the other. It's really personal and business together. It's really tied in. I have a client, Luna, who, you know, during the coaching with me, she was imagining her ideal lifestyle, and she realized how much nature and the connection she has with it was really, really important to her, and how much she cared about the preservation of nature. It's something that's really big here in Mexico. And as she realized, she was writing down, that she wanted to have this life, her life to be like this a year or 2 years down the road. She realized that could be her life tomorrow. And so then she realized she only had to believe in it and leave fear behind and get out of her comfort zone. And that's how, like I said, she took one step. She started working with businesses who were making sustainable actions for the environment, who were trying to save and preserve the environment. And so she really realized, the power to create her life. You can create it now. You can choose, the clients who will work with you, who are a good fit with your values, with your lifestyle, and with your ethics. You can definitely do that. And she realized she had that power now. And since then, she chose the right clients. Those clients bring incredible opportunities to her, because they are in that network. So you really have to put yourself into the person you want to be. And by her working with other business into the environment, she really developed, herself into the right network and the network she wanted to be. And the life she was imagining on paper to be in 1 year or two, she's actually living it now. So it's really about you make one step into that direction, and many doors that you didn't see or didn't know existed will open for you. And that's where the trust and the faith has to come into play, because that's really important. And just a note about that, the thing, I'm really big on to my programs to take care of yourself into that transformation, because self-care is what is going to allow you to see those opportunities. If you're stressed and anxious, because it is a huge transformation, it's huge. You're basically giving birth to a new person. And so that's really, you want to run at your maximized and optimal self. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you're basically, it's like a beaten horse, you're not going to be able to do anything because you're so tired, you're so anxious and stressed. You're not going to be able to see all those opportunities and go into it with all your energy. So that's also something that's important to do when you decide to make this transformation, is to really have a self-care plan. Otherwise, you can easily fall into the excess, of working day and night, and that doesn't work. That clearly doesn't work.
I imagine eventually too, you start resenting.
Yes.
The project.
Yeah, and your creativity. Like I've studied a lot, the neuroscience and how for having an online business and being an online coach, you have to be creative. And you also have to be, fully present to help your clients one-on-one in the sessions. And so to be able to feel your client and see beyond what they are telling you, being able to spot, what resistances they have, what mindset block they have, you've got to be super well taken care of yourself inside to be able to receive those messages as well. So it's really, really, really important in that transformation to really take care of your mindset, your health, your body, and to enjoy the ride, definitely.
Yes, I can. I understand what you're saying. I'm not where you are yet, but I do remember when I was, very exhausted and realized that what I was doing wasn't working anymore.
Yeah.
Several years later, after I kind of had benefited from turning things around, I had this aha moment of, you know what? I ended up sacrificing myself.
Yes.
With the misguided belief that by sacrificing myself, I was helping my family. But what I realized is I had weakened myself and so weakened them.
Yeah.
I wasn't present as well as I wanted to be, and a whole bunch of other things. So in fact, the best thing that I did was to stop. I'm not doing it this way anymore. I don't know what I'm doing next, but it's definitely not this. And by being stronger in myself, then I can be more at service, because I'm,
Totally.
and the blog that this series is an offshoot of, it's called Beyond the Injury, because I like writing, and it's claim your strength, living your purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's what I learned. I learned that I had given up my strength by sacrificing.
Yeah.
And you must run into that a lot of self-sacrifice. Misguided,
Exactly.
mostly, probably.
Yeah, it's really like you were saying, it's this belief system that you have to serve. But to me, it's the metaphor I take is, of course, the plane and the oxygen mask. You can't really help the second person if you don't have your oxygen mask on yourself first. And very quickly, there is always a moment where a client is dropping their mindset work or their self-care program that we put together, and 2 weeks later, I ask, in a session, I can feel they're down, and I'm like, okay, how is it going with the self-care plan and the mindset work? And that's where they're like, oh yeah, wasn't that, like, they automatically realize that if they drop this part of the program, they just go, the gear is, they're slower, it doesn't flow as well. So that's really the strength, like you were saying, like finding what's your strength and really building on that, definitely.
I really appreciate everything that you've shared. I do have one last question for you. So of everything that you've said today, what is the one thing that you want people to remember?
To just do it. Just do it. Because like I said, as soon as you open the door, it's a complete new world. Okay. And you're going to have so many more opening. You have to trust your instinct and follow the signs. If you decide to stay into your dream, because there are a lot of people, who just keep for themselves their dreams and never talk about it, and therefore they're never taking action, and it's just consuming them from the inside, and I'm a firm believer that if you have anxiety or whatever is repressed in you, and emotions that are repressed are creating illnesses and diseases, like Louise Hay is saying often. And you don't wanna live your life dreaming of having, you just have one, like that sounds basic, but you just have one life. And so it's like, you don't want to realize when you're 60 that you pass next to your life. But and that being said, when I was 32 when I made the change, and I remember I was walking from my corporate job office to my car on the parking lot, and I was thinking, like, oh my god, it's too late. I was thinking it's too late at 32.
At 32, you thought you were too late.
I thought it was too late to make a change. And there is all these things, because when we have fear, our ego is giving us those excuses, and I really thought, and then, I made the math, and I'm like, you probably have 30 more years to do, And I'm like, wait a second, I don't want to do 30 more years like that. Like, this is not too late. Like, I would trade my 10 past years, and I learned a lot, of course, in corporate. Like, I enjoyed it. It was what I needed at the time. But I'm like, no, it's not too late. Like, it's just the beginning. Like, if I can do what I love for the next 30, 40 more years in my life, hell yeah, I want to do it, So it's really like to realize, I don't know, it's like, to me, I've seen it most of the time, because now, I've been expatriated in several countries, but when you do take that new path, it's basically like you see so many new things, and there are so much things, so many things that you don't know yet, but are going to help you. And so other people, like I said, that they have done it before you, and they will develop you faster. So many opportunities you can take, avoid the mistakes that they made. That's definitely the fast way to get there. And you can't know what you don't know until someone with a different perspective brings in the mirror in front of you and tell you like, wow, that's one of the role coaching does for people.
And we're hearing this from someone who's a scientist, engineer by training,
Yes.
where you're supposed to plan the experience. You're supposed to plan for all of.
But you see, like, okay, so yes, you're right. But I remember when I did my yoga teacher training, my yoga teacher said, you have to plan the session, the yoga session, the yoga class, and then you have to forget the plan. And so that was before I left my corporate job. And I think that's really what helped me, because he was right. Like, it's a beautiful metaphor, actually. You write the plan because you kind of set up how you want it to happen. There is no one yoga class I gave that followed the script completely. Because, you stayed longer into this pose, or your plan was too long. So most of the time at the beginning was too long. So I had to shorten it, or all of that. And so you realize that at the end, nobody sees that, only the teacher knows, because only the teacher knows what they had planned and what actually happened. But people loved the yoga class and they didn't see, that it wasn't as planned. Like, they still have the benefits and the transformation of the class. So I think that's what made me really realize, like, okay, a plan, it's nice to have one. But then most important is to follow the signs, follow how it feels inside of you, and take the opportunities. Go meet that person who wants to meet you, because you never know what's going to come out of it. Get onto the invitation, get to ask the question to someone, and most of the time they will be happy to talk to you, and they will be happy to answer you and mentor you eventually. I had great mentor in my life at the beginning of this journey. So it's a plan is not to be completely followed. It's really, it's a flow, basically.
Yes. I'm going to summarize what I think your one thing is. But before I say that, you were talking about, when you are in 40 years, right, doing what you love. And there's an expert that I interviewed. Her name is Joyce Chapman. She's 87. And for over 40 years, she's been working with people to live the life of their dreams. So that is what she does. Journaling and helping people find, explore, develop, live their dreams. And she's just so joyful. She's so young in her heart and in her demeanor. And it's like she just decided that that's what was important for her, and she's So what I heard you say your one thing is, to bring it back, because we kind of got a little bit distracted with some stories, is just decide and then do it.
Yeah.
And trust that the doors will open.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the dream is going to morph, As soon as you put your dream from your head to the reality, then it's like it's a collaboration between the universe and you, and the dream is going to switch a little bit, It's going to, because of the opportunities you meet. So you got to give birth to that dream. You got to bring it. Yes.
Plan that you then, that you think about, dream about, live in, sit in every day.
Yeah.
Then you relax the expectations around the plan to allow the opportunities to present themselves. And then because you're taking care of yourself, you're able to actually leverage those opportunities.
Yeah.
Okay. That's exciting.
Awesome.
So you have a gift that you wanted to share with the audience?
Yeah, so I have a free audio training that is on my website. It's called The 3 Steps to Leave Your 9 to 5 and Start Your Online Coaching Business with Confidence. And basically in this training, it's both, for anybody who wants to do online business and online coaching business. But in this free training, they will learn, the number one habit that they need to banish to create unconditional freedom in their life and fulfill their purpose. And then I will also share with them the 10 powerful questions to be clear on who you're meant to be as a coach. That's also, that's the next step. When people want to become a coach, it's like, well, what do I coach about? So I have really 10 powerful questions to get clear on that. And then you will also know, where to find tons of ideal clients excited to work with you, even if you're just starting. And my 3 recommendations to anyone who desires to start their online coaching business. So to find this, you can go on to gaellelecourt.com/become coach. Okay.
And I'll have that posted as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. So thanks again so much, Gaelle. It was really nice meeting you. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your insights. Very much appreciated. I want to thank everyone who's listening to the interview today. I hope that there are some things that you've been able to decide what you're going to apply to move one step closer to living the life that you want. And do stay tuned for other interviews with other experts in this series. They all have a breadth and depth of experience that is outstanding. And the quality of the insights and the quality of the advice is incredible. So do stay tuned. And thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you, Gaelle.